Hello everyone, welcome to this video on embedding a dashboard in Spring Boot. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create a Spring Boot application from scratch, configure, and run it using Visual Studio Code. This integration provides a seamless experience for accessing and gaining real-time insights. It helps manage data and visualizations in a centralized environment, simplifying data handling, reducing the complexity of analysis, and improving business performance. I've provided a link to the documentation, which includes a sample application for your reference. Let's get started. I've already installed the Java Development Kit and the Visual Studio Extensions Pack for Java and Spring Boot on my machine to create a Spring Boot application using Visual Studio Code. Next, I create a Spring Boot application. I click Ctrl-Shift-P on the keyboard to initialize Spring dependencies. In the command palette, I type Spring Initializer to find and choose Create a Maven project. Then click Enter to follow the wizard. A pop-up will show to generate the dependency files and packages to your choice of location. I choose the location and generate the files. At the bottom right of your screen, a pop-up will show to open the created application. I click Open. Next, I need to add an embed config.json file to configure embedding parameters, authentication, user context, and customization for secure embedding of a dashboard. In the dashboard server, I click Settings, select Embed, click Enable Embed Authentication, and click Download. A dialog box will open. I choose the Education category in School Performance Dashboard. Next, I download the JSON file and add it to the created folder in the src/main/resources location. Back in Visual Studio Code, I open the src/main/java/com/example/demo folder and create a new class called embedproperties.java. I add a namespace to define the class to avoid naming conflicts. I add import to map JSON field names to Java fields using the serialized name annotation when parsing JSON with gsun. I add a public class of embed properties to map JSON fields to Java fields using serialization name, allowing easy deserialization of JSON data into Java objects with gsun. I add a public void set dashboard to get and set methods that allow controlled access and modification of the private fields in the embed properties class, following the Java Beans convention. Next, I create a new file named embedclass.java. I add the namespace to avoid naming conflicts. Then, I add a public embed class to store and provide access to toString properties using the set and get methods. Next, I create a new file, homecontroller.java, and add a namespace. I add imports to fetch Java and Spring Boot classes for handling HTTP requests, encoding, cryptography, file access, JSON parsing with gsun, and building RESTful web services. I add configure annotations to handle HTTP requests as a REST API, allow cross-origin access, and map incoming requests to the root URL path. I add the getEmbedConfig method, which reads a JSON config file, deserializes it into an embed properties object using gsun, and returns selected fields as a key value map in response to a GET request. I add the authorization server method, which handles a POST request by building a secure embed authorization URL using user input and configuration data, sends HTTP GET request to that URL, and returns the server's response as a string. Next, I add the getSignatureURL method, which generates secure HMAC-SHA 256 signatures from a query string using a secret key, encoding the result in base 64 for use in authenticated API requests. Next, I open static folder from src/main/resources/static and create a file named index.html. I add a basic HTML template and add head section that sets the page title to bold BI and loads the bold BI embedded SDK JavaScript file, enabling dashboard embedding functionality in the web page. I add style that hides the error message by default and formats it to make it clearly visible when displayed. I add body section that initializes the dashboard rendering when the page loads and provides containers for displaying the embedded dashboard and any error messages. I add script section and then add the render embed config function, which fetches embed configuration data from the backend and passes it to render dashboard to display the dashboard on the page. I add render dashboard function that uses the bold BI embedded SDK to create and load a dashboard inside the specified container using configuration data fetched from the backend. Next, I open pom.xml file. I copy the code from the documentation and add it to the dependencies section. Now everything is ready to render the dashboard. Click the Spring Boot Dashboard button in the activity bar. The Spring Boot Dashboard panel will open. I navigate to the apps and click the Run icon parallel to the demo application created. On a successful run, do not close or shut down this command. I copy the host URL in the documentation and run it on my default browser. You'll see the school performance dashboard rendered. If you want to open the dashboard in design mode, change the view mode to design and load dashboard to load designer in the index.html. The application will automatically update. Refresh the browser, and you'll see the dashboard load in design mode. In this video, I've shown you how to embed a dashboard in Spring Boot in Bold BI. To learn more about Bold BI, you can visit boldbi.com. To try Bold BI, you can start a 30-day free trial by clicking the Try It Free option. If you want a demo from an expert, you can schedule a call by clicking the Request Demo button. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.